Police are called to a demo over school uniform in Lewes as pupils protest over not being allowed to wear skirts.
The police at first weren't really doing much, and then the teachers were going to the police. You need to get them to stop, and now we're trying to get through reception because we want to get our education.
The school said it would alleviate concerns over the length of girls' skirts and benefit a handful of transgender students.
Good evening. A dispute over new rules for uniform at a Sussex school got so out of hand, police community support officers had to be called to keep the peace, as more than 40 pupils were turned away for wearing skirts. The head teacher at Priory School in Lewes told all pupils they had to wear trousers after concerns were raised over the length of girls' skirts.
Well, this morning, on the first day of term, parents and pupils staged a protest. Local MP Maria Caulfield says she's disturbed at how the situation escalated. Peter Whittlesey reports.
Guys, can you move back so I can shut the gate?
Dozens of children turned away at the gates for contravening the school's new school uniform. From today at Priory, only polo shirts and jumpers with the school's logo, paired controversially with trousers, are allowed, whether you're a boy or a girl.
So what's happening now is the girls who are wearing skirts, the uniform that's not allowed, are trying to get in. It looks like the officials from the school are trying to close the gate and saying they can't come in unless they're wearing the right school uniform.
Because we wanted to stand there and protest, but we didn't know whether the police were allowed to push us back or whether we were allowed to stay and stuff. So
yeah, we were being told we were allowed to stay, so we were just holding our ground and standing there, and the police at first weren't really doing much, and then the teachers were going to the police. You need to get them to stop, and now we're trying to get through reception because we want to get our education. They're taking away our learning.
You've got no comment? No. We've given you a press statement, it's very clear.
The man saying no comment is head teacher Tony Smith. At the end of last term, parents were written to about the new school uniform, saying it encourages students to be ready to focus, dilute the status placed on expensive clothes, and it's not unusual in having trousers as the uniform. But today the local MP has spoken out against the school for turning children away.
To bar girls from getting an education simply because they're wearing a skirt, I think is political correctness gone mad.
Parents agree and say the new school uniform isn't cheap either.
We've all had to kind of scrabble trying to find trousers, and none of the uniforms in stock. It's really expensive. It's over £100 per student.
If the school could only have seen Ebony in her changing rooms yesterday trying on trousers, they do not fit her. She's not comfortable in them. And the remarks that she says about her own body, as a parent, having to listen to that is really quite upsetting.
Despite dozens of children being sent home today, students and parents say they will stage another protest next week, putting pressure on the school to change its uniform policy. Peter Whittlesey, BBC South East Today, Lewes.
Well, there has been predictably a lot of response to this topic on Facebook and Twitter. Broadcaster Piers Morgan, he's an old boy of the school, and he tweeted saying the protesting parents and students have my full support. This whole gender-neutral craze is out of control. Let girls be girls and boys be boys.
Oh, meanwhile, Martin Stokes from Tenton has written that school is where you go to learn lessons in life as well as academic lessons, and sometimes you have to abide by rules that you don't agree with.
But Lavinia Cunliffe has a different view. She says, sorry, that's discrimination, not allowing those who wish to identify as female to wear a skirt. You can join the debate on Facebook.
Commotion at the school gates. Police had to intervene in what was supposed to be a silent protest at Priory School this morning. Pupils making their voices heard were locked out of the school, where skirts are now banned.
Mostly I'm here because my daughters are both more comfortable in skirts, and I'd like them to be able to get on with their studies and not worry about what they're wearing. And secondly, I object to uniform being called gender neutral, trousers being called gender neutral, because the adverse inference of that is that skirts aren't gender neutral.
This is a mock-up of the uniform sent to parents. In 2017, new pupils were told they had to wear trousers, while existing students could carry on wearing the uniforms they'd already bought. The school said it would alleviate concerns over the length of girls' skirts and benefit a handful of transgender students. But this year it made trousers compulsory for new and now existing students too.
I think it's totally unreasonable and wasteful to make all the year 11s buy a whole new uniform when we've got like perfectly good uniform here, when it costs over £100 to buy this new uniform and we're only going to have it for 9 months.
Nina was barred from school this morning because she was wearing a skirt. It's part of strict enforcements by the head teacher to send home anyone not wearing the new uniform. In a statement, the school have said, "Our uniform helps us to dilute the status placed on expensive clothes or labels and challenge the belief that we are defined by what we wear. We believe that a uniform worn without modification is the best way to ensure equality. We do not want children feeling vulnerable and stressed by the pressure they feel to wear or own the latest trend or status symbol." Despite today's protest, the school remains adamant that trousers and tops prevent discrimination. Parents are beginning a legal challenge against the uniform, which they say inhibits diversity by taking the choice away from children. Chloe Oliver, ITV News, Lewes.
Why is that different?